Hello, my people, my lovely people. You guys are super, super awesome. I appreciate you. And don't forget, this is Saffron Media, and we're here to give you exciting, trending, reliable, and authentic happenings in Nigeria and more. And guess what? Saraki opens up on why Magu was after him. And you know what I said in some of the videos. If you go back to some of our videos, you see what happened to the EFCC and some other things that could not be said because it seems that Nigeria has actually taken the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for granted. Like I said, if they feel that the EFCC is no longer capable of handling the corruption issues in Nigeria, I think it should be brought down and a new anti-corruption group should be created because it seems there is no more regard for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. You can remember that Saraki's houses that was confiscated by EFCC has been returned back to him. As if that is not enough, I believe we all remember the story of Monfa. Court has also ordered the forfeiture of some of his items that were taken by the same commission. So you can see that this anti-corruption outfit is actually being rubbished, which is not good for the country at the moment. If the leader is corrupt, I believe some of the people that are corrupt should be taken out of the system and replaced with those that can actually fit into that position. Because right now, Sarakina has things to say because of the allegations that were levied against the former EFCC boss. And right now, he said, and also he has opened up on why Magu was after him. But really, if you look after it, do you think that Magu is after him? Perhaps they have things together that they have run together that didn't work out as time went by. But you know how politics also run. Politics is a dirty game, and those that want to play it must also be ready to make themselves dirty. So before we get into the details of this on why Saraki have said Magu is after him, if you haven't subscribed, please endeavor to hit the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Okay, without wasting much time, let us dive right into the details of this report. As it said, former Senate President Bukola Saraki has revealed why the suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, went after him with zeal to prosecute him. Saraki said Magu decided to take the fight against him personal because the 8th National Assembly did not confirm his appointment as substantive EFCC chairman. The former Senate president was reacting to his victory against the EFCC at the Federal High Court in Lagos. Justice Rilwan M. Aikawa had dismissed in its totality the application by the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, for forfeiture order on Saraki's home in Ilorin, Kwara State. He said the last 5 years had been very challenging for him and his family, as he had endured and defeated one false allegation and malicious litigation after another in an ill-motivated persecution, intimidation, and harassment through which some vested interests sought to damage his name and label him with charge of corruption. But with the grace of Allah, I have always been victorious. I thank God for the outcome of this case, which is the 5th victory in cases which the EFCC was either the main investigating agency or the plaintiff. It is obvious that EFCC leadership under its Eastwell acting chair, Mr. Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, decided to take the issue of his non-confirmation by the 8th Senate, which I led personally. However, I know that the Senate under my leadership only followed the due and normal procedure during the confirmation process, and we never executed any personal agenda against Magu. The records of the Senate during the period is there for the perusal of all Nigerians interested in the truth. I hope that with the outcome of today's case, the EFCC learned that a serious issue like the fight against corruption should not be reduced to a forum shopping means to execute a personal vendetta or persecute a parochial agenda. Fighting corruption and combating economic crime requires stakeholders to ensure cohesion while employing upright diligence, due process, fairness, equity, and broad-mindedness in dealing with all cases and persons. The deployment of a state institution to fight a personal and partisan battle particularly with the use of the mass and social media as championed by the EFCC, was aimed at inflicting damage to my name, reputation, and elective public service record through a targeted misinformation and disinformation campaign of calumny, also directed at intimidating the judiciary, he stated. According to Saraki, it was directed at giving the wrong impression about him, as he recorded yet another vindication by the competent court of law, saying that, God willing, his focus would now shift to more serious issues. He said it was the grace of Allah and the support of his family that saw him through these past trying years, stressing that his family members had withstood with courage, candor, resilience, and grace the war of attrition, which was also directed at them. Saraki said it was important to put it on record that he held no grudge against any individual for their roles in their trials, as his experience in the last 5 years had only strengthened his faith in Almighty Allah, the Nigerian nation, and a judiciary which had always risen above the deen to give justice at all times and in all situations. Definitely, I remain unflinching in my belief that we need to build a functional society which creates the right atmosphere for all to aspire to be whatever positive they desire. At this point, let me strongly express my support for the anti-corruption war and the institutions created to prosecute this war. My antecedents shows that I have always sponsored and backed initiatives in this direction. I was part of the team that initiated the enactment of the Fiscal Responsibility Act and Public Procurement Act under the Obasanjo's administration as governor of Kwara State. My government was the first state to introduce the Price Intelligence Unit and was also the first state to submit our financial process for rating by the Fitch and Global Rating Agency. As a member of the 7th Senate, I sponsored the motion which exposed the monumental fraud in fuel subsidy payments, while the 8th Senate, under my leadership, passed 5 different bills aimed at strengthening the fight against corruption, particularly the law that created the National Financial Intelligence (NFIA), he said. So that was from Saraki. He said he holds no grudges against anyone who has actually interrogated him in the past, but he said he has gone through a lot in the past 5 years in the hands of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and is grateful to God that he has been vindicated of all charges that were leveled against him back then. And he said some of the achievements he got while he was in office, even as the first governor of Kwara State back then in Obasanjo's administration in 1999, while democracy first came into Nigeria. And he said a lot that there should still be a fight against corruption in the country, irrespective of what is going on right now. So, like, I will still reiterate that, if they feel that the EFCC is no longer competent, I believe a new anti-corruption body should be raised that can fight corruption, because it seems that too many cases are coming these days that courts is ruling over that, individuals are beginning to win over the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, cases that have been lingering for over 5 years just because something happened to the chairman of the anti-corruption agency. Everything begins to run in another direction. So I don't think things should be like this, but thanks to God that some people that were actually not guilty are actually freed and allowed to take their properties. But of course, we know that some people are actually still very guilty, but because of the things surrounding it right now, we cannot really say exactly if they are guilty or not guilty. But because of the things surrounding it right now, they cannot actually tell if this is right or wrong. But because of the issues surrounding the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission at the moment, everyone seems to be now more powerful than the anti-corruption agency. So guys, you've heard it all. You've heard what Saraki said as to how God helped him, his family, Nigerians stood by him while he was being interrogated all these years for cases of corruption. But thank God he's been freed, and if he's not guilty, let God be the final judge that could tell about who is guilty and who is not guilty. Man can only try, but he cannot tell the intent of man's heart. So guys, you've heard it all. Thank you so much for staying tuned. I really do appreciate your time here so far. You guys have been simply awesome. If you have anything to say, please drop it in the comment section, and ensure that you subscribe if you haven't, and also help us share this video. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Do have a pleasant time. Bye for now.